What is going on? What is going on? Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Beyond the Hustle. I am your MC and host, Daniel Tatamy, and joined with me is always serial entrepreneur himself, Mr. Paul Renee Jr. What is going on, Paul? This is episode 27, Beyond the Hustle. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is going on, Paul? What is going on? How you feeling? You can't hear me? You can't hear me? What's going on with the mic? Okay.
That's my mic. My fault. Yeah,
I was about to say, what?
All right, no problem. Hey, what's up? What's going on, Maestro?
Hold on, Paul. I'm gonna redo it. Hold on.
Right.
What is going on, y'all? Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Beyond the Hustle. This is episode 27. I am your host, Daniel Tatamy, and join with me, as always, serial entrepreneur himself, Paul Renee Jr. What is going on?
What's up, Maestro? What's up, man? Hey, it is I, your tax guy, Paul Renee. I'm here alongside with the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel Tatamy, the guy who's the glue, who put everything together. Man, what's going on with you, bro?
I'm good, man. I didn't want to start the show like that because I'm like, no, we gotta give you the intro and the just desserts you deserve, man. So I said, nah, we're gonna redo it because I gotta get you right, bro. I
appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man.
And this is episode 27, bro.
27 is a good number. That's 9.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
9 is a good number. What's the numerology behind that? What does the number 9 mean? Because 2 plus 7 is 9. You don't mind if I do a little check real quick?
Go ahead, man. What?
Because I'm, you know me, I'm the numbers guy, right? My thing is, and I think it's because I heard it from, was it Nikola Tesla? That the secrets of the world can be found in 3, 6s, and 9s.
Really?
Yeah.
So I know 3 is the number of completion. 6, I think, is that the number of man? I think 6 is the number of man. I don't know.
So in numerology, 9 represents completion, wisdom, and good leadership, often associated with ambition and transformation. So 3 has a solid number to it. 6 has a solid number to it, and 9. So whenever I see those numbers come across, now, I might be a little weirdo again. I wear that tinfoil hat, right? That's my thing, But whenever I see numbers of that combine to either 3, 6, and 9, I go for it. I'm like, yeah, this is a sign of the universe telling me something's going on, man. Something good is going on. So I like it. I like the number 9. 27 episodes, man. That's a big accomplishment for guys on the podcast, right? On the come up, like, man, and that's all credited to you, bro. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. Like, I wasn't even feeling it today, but I had to get up because I know, man, I ain't gonna hear it. I'm not gonna hear the last of it from Daniel if I don't get up, man, for real.
Dude, we gotta keep it. And I'm gonna tell you what, bro. Like, everything within this space, within this game, this podcast game, or within anything dealing with content or anything like that, bro, it's all in the consistency. How many times you're gonna show up? How often are you gonna show up? Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people that even get into the spaces that we are in, right? Before we even get to the business side of everything, just the sheer fact of you showing up and doing it continually in spite of, bro, because I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, with me doing the sit down, when I was doing the sit down, I was doing that my first like consistent, communication, content or whatever. When I was doing that, people was starting stuff. People wanted to do it. People wanted to get out there and do stuff. And I've seen them come and go. I say too much about it, but I've seen people, man. They started doing it, or they want to do it, or anything. Put out content or put out videos. And one of the things that they always compliment me on is the consistency. So in anything that I did, whether it was the music or whether it was just putting out inspirational, motivational videos or whatever like that, just like getting in front of the camera and dropping content. and I see them start, I see them go, and I don't say nothing about it because I know it's not easy, bro. Because there are times I didn't feel like doing this sit down. There are times I was tired. There's times I didn't feel like making videos. There are times I couldn't think of anything to even talk about or say, and it's just like,
Yeah.
then you go look for inspiration or creativity in something. At times I even don't feel like doing this. There's times I'm like, dang, Daniel, you got to post, and I'll make myself post consistent posts and like even snippets and stuff like that. I'll be laying in the bed 2:00 in the morning, and I'm going through finding snippets for us, bro. Like I don't feel like doing it. But it's like,
man, yeah.
It's like, do you want to be a leader in that space? Do you want to be in this space? Do you want what comes with showing up every day, which is the success of a podcast, bro? So, kudos to you for even aligning with me, bro, because I go hard.
Man, it's your discipline, bro. It's your discipline that I'm following the lead of, because you're the one who is experiencing this and have the knowledge of the podcast world. I'm not even on top of the statistics, the algorithms, the what you're supposed to do, what type of channels you're supposed to be. I didn't even know about Spotify, and now we're on Spotify. Check us out on Spotify, right? Until you be on that. Right? That's Daniel right there. We on Spotify and we on YouTube. So check us out there. And this is all because you already know what goes on in this industry, and that's why I told myself and told you even years before we even got on, like, man, I want to do a podcast with you, and that's what ended up happening. And now we're 27 deep. We're number 9 in this, right? So it's awesome. Yeah. I'm loving it, man. And I know there's a lot that's been going on for this last week, man. That we want to talk about, and that you especially want to talk about in your field and everything. I do want to mention though, before we do that, to get it out there for America, I deal with people nationwide with taxes, and plus I help people with real estate. If you want to know what to do with that tax refund and you want to invest it, you don't need to spend it on bills or credit card. You want to invest it, hit me up. I help people invest the money that they earn. But also one of my loves in life is to be able to teach. Okay. So I teach people sales on and ways to be able to close deals, whether it's real estate, whether it's cars, whether it's anything, any type of market. Use some of these techniques that I have. Hit us up in the DM if you need any type of coaching or mentorship when it comes down to sales. I got people who I mentor with wholesale and real estate, taxes, for car dealerships, whatever the case may be. I spent a majority of my life analyzing and educating myself on the sales market, man. Dude, I used to sell Persian rugs, knives, you name it.
What?
There was some I used to sell.
I don't know if you remember those knives out.
I don't know if you remember Kirby vacuums, right? I used to sell Kirby vacuums, man. Cutco knives, man. All of these things were
knives, bro.
Yeah, man. All of these things were the education process to get me to where I am now. To where I'm like, you know what, no matter what type of market, what type of field even though I'm not educated in that field, but I can teach you how to sell, right? Yeah. So put it out there, America. Hit me in the DM if you need any sales techniques. I'm available for mentorship. Okay, so wanted to get that out the way before Daniel literally drops the bomb on things that's been happening to us.
Bro, now that you say that, bro, I need a bomb sound effect. We will have a bomb sound effect next week.
Drop the bomb.
We will have a bomb sound effect next week for every time bombs get dropped on this show. We will have a bomb sound. You know what? I ain't playing with it, bro. We about to get.
You gonna look for it right now?
It's coming this episode, bro. It's coming this episode.
Dude, man, I love it.
But I'm gonna tell you this though. I'm gonna tell you this, right? Because like just really quick, getting back on the consistency side of all of these things, what we do, and how I think we talked about this before, but people love, because entrepreneurship has become like this sexy fad, right?
Yeah.
In the sense of social media, everybody wants to post like pristine, clean content. Everybody, which is great, right? Which is great. Everybody wants to appeal or the appeal of being a successful entrepreneur,
Right.
or mastering their own fate, right? Which is great. I think those things are great. And the fact that so many people want it, I think it's a beautiful thing, right? Even though we know, statistically speaking, we all won't get there. Everyone won't get there. I do like
Right.
the fact that people want it. What I what I what I don't like to see happen though is people want it and they front it, right? But then there's no action or pursuit afterwards.
Right.
Because I know what it's like to want something. In my 20s, dude, there's so much that I wanted, and I wanted to have, achieve. I did the whole rapping thing. I did the whole sales thing. I used to sell vacation and timeshare, things of that nature.
Yeah.
I wasn't that good at that. Like, that's not,
Yeah.
I didn't get great into sales or do that until later on in my life. But there are things that I wanted, and life got in the way, responsibilities and things of that nature. So I switched up a lot, even with me doing this outside of music. But it's like there's things that people want, yet there's things that go into it at the same time. You can't want something and not be willing to put in what it takes to get it, right?
Yeah.
Because in learning what it takes to get it and putting in the work to get it, you learn what it takes to sustain it. And what you don't want to be is like, we hear the stories of professional athletes or even entertainers all the time. They make all this money and they ended up working at a grocery store.
Yeah, man. You're absolutely right, Daniel. I've known, just based off of my experience, not something I read in a book, not something I've seen on TV, but firsthand experiences of people being inherited, a business, a thriving business, like the father or the mother passed away and gave it to their children, and the outcome wasn't the same. The response of the community, the response of the customers of that new management, it wasn't the same. And I do think the reason why there was a shift is because the appreciation isn't there, right? The appreciation, the original owners of that business knew what it took in order to get to where they ended up, right? They fought tooth and nail to get to that point where the community accept them. They have all these customers coming in, eating all their food at the restaurant. Everybody's coming there on Sundays, Saturdays. It's the place to go. And then once the original owners passed and left it to the children, it's like, yeah, well, the food doesn't taste the same, right? The vibe isn't the same. The environment isn't the same. The love isn't the same. The appreciation, you don't even know me, but your mom did, the owner did, right? I'm not being received like I used to be received when I came through the door when your mother was here, right? Or when your father was here. And so that business ended up dwindling and collapsing. And yeah, you're over there working at the grocery store, like you said. I've seen this, firsthand, where companies had a fantastic owner with several employees. And then the owner's like, I know my time is up. I'm gonna hand it over to, my next, my son. And the son comes in and is like, yeah, I'm taking over. This is mine, and everybody's like, what? Yeah, like, who are you? Right. And they're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out, and then next thing you know, there is no employees. Right. And the business is not the same. So I've seen this, and me, I have that analytical mind, and I'm like, how did that even happen? How did it occur? And it's just reality is that there's the appreciation of what they have, isn't there, because the original owner had that appreciation. They went through the
Mm-hmm.
mud to get where they to get where they are at, or were at the time that they left the business, and all the the kid had was just an inherited wealth that they didn't even it didn't even feel like wealth to him,
No,
right? Because it
no.
wasn't earned, it was just given.
Mm-hmm.
And much is appreciated when it's earned, but when it's
And
given, it's not the same vibe.
and not and you're right about that. So in that scenario, in that scenario, would it be the child or would it be the parent who kind of dropped the ball? Because if the
The
parent,
child.
and we know we're going to give our child an inheritance, we ought to teach them how to store that inheritance as well.
I think it's the child, because the child should see what the father has in store for him,
Mm-hmm.
and should have the mindset like, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna revamp it. I'm gonna make this increase. I'm the 2.0 version, right? I'm gonna make this bigger than what it really is. But that's not what they end up doing. They end up just being complacent and like, yeah, I got
Mm-hmm.
this gift. And instead of increasing the revenue, the value, the social outlook of the business, and making it better, instead of making it better, they ended up making it worse, because yeah, they didn't know the groundwork that it took to get there. They didn't put themselves in the position
Yeah.
to know the fundamentals of what it took to get there. So I don't think it's the father. I think it's that the child.
See, in that scenario, I put it on both because even this, like the hustle, the drive, the ambition that you have, that's in you.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you seen what your father did, you saw what your dad did. I know what your dad did. Early
Yeah.
when I was younger, being able to watch his drive, his ambition, his hustle. So you didn't have to do that though. You could have like been a child or a son that went a different way, because not all the kids are
Correct.
going to inherit that or get that, you know.
They're
So
not gonna want it, right?
no, because it's not in them to have that. So the child that gets that inheritance might not have that put in them. And even look at Donald Trump's scenario too. Look at his situation too. His sister didn't
Okay.
want to do the business thing. His brother didn't either. His other brother was the one that passed.
Yeah.
Was an alcoholic, got on drugs, was a pilot. He didn't do the whole entrepreneur thing, even though their dad did it. So I think either you have it in you or you don't. At the same time, if you only have one child, the inheritance is gonna go to them, right? If you have
Right.
multiple kids, you're gonna put the business in the hands of the child that shows that. At the end of the day, you still have to teach all of them how to manage it. And if they get it, they get it.
See,
That's
but
what I
that's
think
the
about it
thing.
when it goes to the inheritance piece.
I get what you're saying, and maybe in certain instances that might be the case, but I've just seen it firsthand, right? Where the parent did teach the child and had the child
Mm,
under their wing and was like, "Hey,
yeah,
you need to do this." The child
yeah,
was in the office, in the business, in the
yeah,
in the restaurant every day with the parent, serving,
yeah,
learning the trade, tricks of the trade of the business. They in there, serving, talking to the chefs, all that. They're in there in the office, learning the fundamentals of the business and everything. But like you said, what I did see is just the child just didn't have it. But I don't think having it is something that is all the time like embedded in us. I
yeah,
think it's a trait that you have to learn. Like you have to learn how to have it. Like sales. It's not something that some people can be natural at sales,
yeah,
but majority of the salespeople who are top tier salesmen had to learn how to sell. They had to go through the mud in order to get where they're at. They had to go through trial and error, but they
yeah,
had it in them to deal with going through the trials and error, to deal with the rejection, to see
yeah,
their future selves as being successful, and know that this is just the obstacle that I have to cross in order for me to get to where my future self is going to be at. But the latter, the people who inherited the business, didn't have to go through that trial and error. They didn't have to go through the rejections. They didn't have to go through all what was acquired to collect the thousands of accounts, that was needed for this business. They didn't have to go through that. It was given to them.
Yeah.
So instead, they don't even appreciate the money that is being generated. While the mother, invested properly, used the money to invest back into the business. The children just spend the money. They're just like, you know what? Because it came so easy. So I can spend it like it's easy, and it's like the real estate game. This is now this is different than business now, but it's like the real estate game, right?
Yeah.
I'm out here in the countryside, right, where there's lots of farms, lots of farmland and everything. And a majority of the farmland is inherited land from, 100 years ago and 50 years ago, whatever. And so when it's been passed from generation to generation, but this upcoming generation, right, would have 20 acres, 10 acres, 5 acres, whatever, a lot of acres of land, and they don't see the value in it. All they see is, let me sell it. Instead of holding it, they're like, I'm gonna just sell it. I just got it from mom. My mom passed away. Let me sell it and let me bank on it. When you're just like, what? And I'm over here helping them sell it, and I'm like, what? Why are you selling this for? Like, are you kidding me?
And you gotta watch them sell that good land.
Yeah, I gotta watch them sell it. I'm like, they're like, yeah, well, I got another property. It's okay. I don't even want to live over here. And it's like, oh my goodness, don't you see what the value?
Yes,
the value. They don't get it. Yeah, they don't get the value of it because they didn't have to earn it.
I got something for you, Paul.
What's up, bro? You dropping bombs. Daniel's dropping bombs on him. You got it.
Bro, you should never let me get that, bro. Oh
man, this man ain't playing. You dropping it all over the world, huh?
I was over here working and trying to get it, bro. Hey. But that takes me, hearing that makes me think about the American at the same time.
Okay.
I didn't do this on purpose, okay? I was not thinking about doing this. You just talking about it, and then you talking about not appreciating it, and I'm just like, America, bro. A lot of Americans, I believe, they just don't appreciate, or haven't developed the appreciation of being here and where they are. And I was talking to my brother about this today, and I mentioned it to my wife too, because I just said, just seeing how, Trump, issued the bombing of Iran, bombing the nuclear facilities of Iran, right?
Yeah.
And just seeing what our military was able to accomplish with that mission, right? Me being who I am and being as close to the military as I've been fortunate to be, like, I can be like, okay, yeah, cool. Our military did something dope. I knew we had a dope military. I believe that.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of people don't have, the appreciation of even what America is and being here, because they were just born here. Even with what you see with the whole immigration thing and how people are like, oh no, they can be here too. And they've gotten here illegally, and they fight so hard for them to be able to stay here, because the privilege of being here in America and the value of this country, you can just so easily give away or sell away, right? Because you haven't grown into appreciation of what the value of this country is. Right. And that's the whole reason why I believe a lot of people were so upset about Trump when he did the tariffs on China, and Trump is like, no, if you knew the value of the consumerism that is in America, you wouldn't just sell that out for no tariffs.
Right.
Like, there's value in this country. A lot of people don't understand the value of this country, right? And so that's why they can just want to give it away and give away the American dream to just anybody who decides to want it. And just like, you don't value what you have because they don't see the value of this country. And I'm not saying I've always seen it. The older I got, and me having an interest in politics, that's what allowed me to kind of grow and to see, like, oh snap, like, we kind of are a lot more beastie than what I even thought. And I just think a lot of people just devalue what America is. That's the reason why they can say weird things and get behind it. Like for me, bro, it's America first. If it doesn't benefit this country, I really don't too much care about it. Like, yeah, you want to have your heart go out to people, you want to care about it, you want to help where you can. Yet, I'm just of the mindset of like, bro, I'd rather us take care of what we have here, and then we can see how we can benefit other people, man. That's just my outlook on it.
Man, yeah, you're right on that. And Trump does value this country. That's why, he's big on the illegal immigration policies. Mm-hmm. And what saddens me is how people who are supposed to be patriots of this country doesn't value, they don't value this country to know that that's illegal, right? It's illegal for people to come into this country illegally. It's a criminal offense. While these other countries, they make it, you get prison time for trying to come into the country illegally, right? Like right. There's so many countries like that I don't even know off of the top of my head. Try to go ahead and go into North Korea illegally. See what happens. Try to go ahead and go into China illegally. See what happens. Try to go ahead and go into Dubai illegally. See what happens. Try to go ahead and go into China illegally. See what happens. Right? But you go ahead and go into America illegally, you get free housing and free food, and it doesn't make any sense, right? So
no.
You would think people who really feel like you, Daniel, and me, and have pride of the country would know, like, look, in order to have a country, you got to have borders. You got to have tough immigration laws. You can't just let everybody come in, without the proper paperwork, while everybody else is, making it known that you can't just come in and walk through our borders like that. Because if they could, they would probably be going over there instead of here, where they know they're going to be having free housing and free, food and government assistance in order to come here illegally. It's a shame to me. It's a shame to me. I mean, if you're really a true patriot, like you said, you would be picking the home team and wanting everything to benefit the home team.
Everything to benefit, bro. It's just like, I mean, I don't think people, and the reason I don't think people, bro, I truly believe that. I don't believe people value or care or have pride in America like that. I just don't believe that I don't believe that it's, and the proof is in the pudding, bro. The proof for me is in the pudding. Like the way people speak about this country, the way people think, like even with them, you're hearing people talk about just like, I really do believe people want to see its own citizens. They want to see the downfall of this nation, because it's like, there's no way you can sit here and devalue what the military is able to do, devalue what our country is capable of doing, the value that is here. And it's just like, oh, well, yeah, we can lose to this. And I'm not saying that we can't understand the power, the other countries' powers, or how great they are, their might of those other countries. Yet you can just easily dismiss the might of America to say that we ought to like bend a knee or bow down to these other nations, smaller nations than us. People was afraid of what Iran was going to do. I don't want to get into it too much, but people was afraid of what Iran was going to do. I was like, Iran can't even handle Israel.
Yeah.
And like, you worried about their get back?
Man.
Bro, but you know what? People haven't been fortunate enough to see what I've seen from the military up close and personal. Bro, I've seen SEALs, bro. I talked to them. I've seen videos of Navy SEALs, of these task force, of these mercenaries who like drive a pickup truck. They wear cowboy hats. You look at them and they got beer bellies. They drink Budweiser, bro. Yeah, they carry them rifles and them boys can shoot.
Well, that's America, man. That's America.
And they ready, bro.
And see, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I don't know if that's the right analogy, but a lot of the issues, I think the reason why a lot of Americans don't take pride here in America is because we're kind of, socially engineered not to really take pride in America. We're kind of socially engineered not to take pride in America. Almost everything you see on the news, in the media, is conflict between us. Right? It's kind of too much division, too much hatred. There's racism, there's religion, there's different genders. There's so many things going on. That's beef between sports teams, whatever. There's just so much conflict here in America when other countries really don't have those things going on generated within their country. It's much more of a unity, right? It's much more of an identity between the people in that country. And here in America, we're just a melting pot of different races. So it's like this race versus that race and that. So it's kind of like the only time America really gets together is at time of war, right? When it's time to fight somebody else. And then everybody's like, all right, let's mount up, and let's go, right? But yeah, shout out to the military and all the branches, for doing their thing. Shout out to the parents of the soldiers out there in the military. Yeah. Those are the ones that really got to give a good pat on the back for.
But
as far as definitely. But as far as the wars go, as far as the narratives as being on social media, on the news, I've been to 2 tours, man. Been to Afghanistan, been to Iraq, done some private military contracts. So I've been in war. One thing I know about seeing things that's on the media, I just don't believe anything that I see on the media. Because right, I don't, and I'm not gonna pretend like I know what's going on when it's coming to Iran and Israel and all that. Because really, when it comes down to it, the people who really know what's going on are the people who's got their feet on the ground in those areas. It's really not. They let you see, they let you know what they really want you to see and what and what they want you to know, and how they want the narrative to be played, right? When it comes down on what people see on the media. So everybody's getting all emotional about stuff they know nothing about.
They know nothing
really
about
because you're not there. All you're seeing is a video of a missile flying in the sky and explosions that could have happened somewhere else, that could have happened a different time, could have been 2 weeks ago, could have been 3 weeks ago. You never know. It's all entertainment. It's all news is an entertainment. Media is entertainment, right? I just know from my experience, I don't believe anything that I see on the news just because of my experience, right? And the narratives they try to spin just to get people emotional and wound up, and their feelings involved in the situation. But I don't know anything that's going on out there. I'm not going to tell you that I do. I just do. I think all war is ugly. I think both sides is good and bad. Whatever, you never know. It's a flip of a coin. It all depends on what situation that you're in. It's just nothing's pretty about war, and I think that's another thing why a lot of Americans don't want to see it, because no one really wants to see war happen. Now, if it does happen and we're involved, we're one of the best, because they breed us here for war, right? Like, there's more guns than people here in America. Like, come on, right? Like, there's more guns than people here in America, bro. They breed us for war. NATO had, and this is what Trump. This is one of the reasons Trump was, going into NATO and rearranging budgets and what America is supposed to be owed and what we're not going to spend and everything, because they're using us. They're using us just to fight, right? And we're not benefiting from it, right? And that's what Trump was putting on the table. Like, look, we're spending all this money, but you're using our shoulders, you're using our troops and everything. It should be the other way around. We should be benefiting from this. We should be benefiting from that.
And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about knowing the value of what this country has to offer. And people were like, oh, we shouldn't back out of NATO. If you knew your value, or the value that was America, you would know that they don't want us gone. They need us. It's further than in these countries. It goes deeper than just them wanting us around. They need America around. So with that, and it's not to say that you take advantage of being the big stick in the world. Yeah, it's like, yo, we got to benefit something. This is a one-sided relationship. And I think a lot of Americans walk around like that cute chick in school who doesn't know she's cute, so she gives herself to just anybody. You know what I'm saying? a lot of Americans don't know the value that America has. So they're just willing to sell themselves for pennies on the dollar. And I'm just like, bro, no, like we should, bro, if you only knew how much we like, I think outside of America, and I don't think outside of America, Russia is the only country that has more nukes than America. And like, so like we're number 2 on the nuke list. And it's like a difference of like a few hundred thousand, of a few, of just like hundreds, you know, of nukes. And then from like 3 to 2, it's like a huge disparity. So like Russia being number 1, America being number 2, like is up here, and then number 3 is like all the way down here. Like as far as like nukes, and at the same time, you have to have the systems and the capability of arming and firing those nukes at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So like, and I mean, we see what the trouble Russia's having with Ukraine. I mean, like,
Right.
so I do, and like we're the only country that has those B-52 stealth bombers, bro. I think like China have like a version of it. I want to say Russia's like kind of building something of it, but yet like we're still man. Let me stop, bro. We got some reactions.
Yeah, we got reconstructed alien technology. That's what you're saying.
Bro,
but
I'm just saying, bro. These dudes flew 18-hour flights 2 ways, bro, nonstop.
Yeah,
man. Let me, dude.
I'm not too big on the whole nuke. Scare me with nuke tactics, man.
Yeah, bro.
You know, ever since elementary school, we were doing drills to where we had to go underneath the desks because Russia's gonna drop nukes and bomb. It's a fear tactic, right? Yeah. So again, they're telling us nukes. Look, what do they say about Iraq? Iraq had nukes, weapons of mass destruction, and all this stuff. You don't know unless you're there. Bro, dude, right? And then they're gonna start. Then they're gonna declassify the information 20 years from now and say, well, Iran was really having a candy factory and they was selling like the best candy out there. And you know, us Americans, we want that sugar, right? And so we went there to bomb them because they wouldn't play ball again. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just you know trying to say. Whatever, but you just don't know what's going on. They can tell you anything over the news, but you don't know.
You don't know.
And then at the same time, why would they even tell us? Right? Like, why would they say, this is what we're going to do, that's what we're going to do when it comes down to war? Does that sound strategical to you? Like to say, this is the plan. They got this, they got that. We're going to just do this. And we're going to come at night at 12 o'clock and just start bombing. No. You don't do that when you at war, you know? There's a ceasefire at 4 o'clock. If you stop, I'm gonna stop. Like, what's this? Come on now.
And that's why a lot of people in Congress was upset because they're like, "Oh, Trump didn't tell us he was gonna bomb them," and then you have to approve war through the Congress. And it's like, why would we tell you guys when you guys was even leaking the ice raid information? You couldn't even handle the ice raid information. So why would we tell you that we're gonna go bomb this country? And they're like, "Well, when did you tell Congress that you bombed them?" And they're like, when they was out of the airspace of Iran on their way back home. So y'all found out when we told.
right. As you should. It's like, you shouldn't be putting it out there.
Yeah, and then people were upset. They were saying like, "Oh, Trump said they had 2 weeks, and then he switched the next day and bombed them." Well, of course he said he had 2 weeks. You know what y'all know? They sent out like 8 different eight different B-52 bombers, and 6 of them or 12. 6 went this way, and then 6 went this way. And like, because it's misdirection, and then the news and everybody in the media followed those 6, and who knows, they were probably in it. They were probably in on it and saying, "Oh yeah, y'all tracking the news report, them 6 over there." You know what I'm saying? Misdirection, bro.
The news is a weapon used too for war.
Of course.
You know, I remember when the towers got hit. I was in Fort Benning doing jump school, airborne school in Fort Benning, and it was Tower Week. They shut everything down. They're like, everybody inside, and everyone was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" We found out on the news what was going on, right?
Wow.
So yeah, even as soldiers, so it's used to, as a weapon too. The media is used as a weapon. It's used to spin whatever narrative that they want to get across, right? Like, why would the government allow the news to get out really sensitive information? You know, they're going to use it to tell a story, you know, that they want them to say. It might be, I'm not saying things and events are not happening,
Right.
but they're going to say, hey, don't say this, take this out, say this instead. Right. I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, it makes sense when you're a government and you got to do things. You don't want everybody to know your business. Yeah. And until like 20 years later when it's declassified and then you read it and then you find out what really went down. If they even decide to declassify it 20 years from now. Yeah. Right. So,
dude, let's get into some
so hard.
Buddy, here we go. Here we go.
The greatest moment of 16.
But let me I'm gonna say this. Dude, hold on. Yeah. So I was before we get to this real quick about the news, dude. And this is something that people gotta understand too. Like, the news is just like a television show. How the shows end with like cliffhangers.
It is.
News do the same thing. Oh yeah, let's keep you afraid of these sleeper cells. Let's keep you afraid of these things so that you'll watch the news for the update. Like, because they survive off of ratings the same way. So they need your eyes just like everybody else. All right, dude. So as you can see, man, this is a crazy one, bro. I wanted us to do something to this one because bro, this is crazy. Check this out.
I worked so hard for that title.
The greatest moment of 16-year-old Clara Adams' young career taken away from her because of a celebration. After winning the 400-meter event at the CIF State Championships with a time of 53.24 seconds, her dream of winning a state title went up in flames after celebrating using a fire extinguisher.
When she blew the fire extinguisher, the opponents were gone. That was our moment of celebration, and the CIF officials made that about them.
The North Salinas High sophomore grabbed a fire extinguisher from her father and coach and extinguished off her spikes. The CIF deemed her celebration unsportsmanlike, stripping her of her title. It's a celebration made famous by American sprint icon Maurice Green, who enjoyed her paying homage to him and thinks she should get her state title back.
People just started calling me, oh, this girl who just won the 400 redid your celebration. I was like, huh, what? If it was away from everyone and not really interfering with anybody, I would say reinstate her.
There's a CIF rule saying you can't come over the wall, you can't be on the infield, which is a rule respected. But at this point, I saw an official grab my daughter by the arm. They were yelling in her face. When he grabbed her by the arm, I went over the wall at that point. I'm father now. I'm not coach anymore. I'm over the wall.
Now, the true fastest 400-meter runner in the state is back home without a medal.
Even if everything goes in my favor, in regards to like getting my title back, I'll still never get that moment back, like standing on the podium as a sophomore. I'll never get that back because they took it from me.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's sad.
Bro,
that's sad.
Look at this, bro. And the thing about it is, it's like, dude, she didn't even spray a lot of, for number one, the people she beat wasn't there. She had the fastest time, bro. And look at this.
53.24
it's not even
seconds.
A lot.
Her dream of winning a state title went up in flames after celebrating
it's like literally
using
boom,
a fire extinguisher.
Come on, bro. Now, I'm not going to say it's a race thing because I don't want to be so quick to go into race. There's not, especially if there's nothing in the rule books about it, bro. That's crazy.
Man, it's an example of how they want people to conduct themselves now, in this time in this society. They want you to quiet the beast inside of you. They don't want you to be. They don't want you to be confident. They don't want you to scream out and roar. right? They want you to just be humble, be nice. Okay, you know, those guys lost, so, you know, don't put it up in their face. And no, man, you got to be able to express, you know, the satisfaction of being successful. You know, you know, if people's feelings get hurt along the way, that is their fault, because also along the way, people will be inspired, right? And that's the people that you're really trying to reach, is the people who are going to be inspired by your success. Okay, so man, it's just sad that this is you know, common all along, you know, the lines, where they just want people to be, okay, you win, okay, just sit over there, you know, and or everyone gets a trophy, right? It could be participation, and it's like they just want you to quiet the you know, and burn out the candle that's glowing inside of you, you know, and that's sad. Coming from a beast, you know, I'm a roar, man. That's how I am. You know, one of my homies, Hanse has a shirt from Warpath that says, fuck being humble, fuck, you know, that's what it's about. You know, you gotta, you know, go out there, work hard, become successful, and roar about it. Okay. And I don't believe in this. Look at what they did that in what the NFL no showboating too, I think, after touchdowns and all that. It's like, but that's the whole point of getting a touchdown, is so that I can showboat.
Dude.
Right? Like, you know,
not to me,
what's going on?
That's the highest adrenaline moment, or the highest energy moment of a football game. It's a touchdown. There's nothing more high energy than that. A sack, an interception, a fumble recovery, a hard hit isn't even that. It's electrifying, but nothing is as energy drawing as a touchdown, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No matter how it comes, bro. And you could tell she was, just by her body language and how she moved, you could tell she was being respectful in the moment. She was. You can just see it. You could tell she wasn't being all wild with it. She was kind of nervous to even do the celebration. You could see that.
It looked like it. Yeah, it looked like she was.
Bro, I just think that's sad, bro. And she's the fastest one that did it. She deserved to beat her chest for that, bro. You got the fastest 400-meter time.
Hey, you know, if I was able to talk to her, if she's able to hear this, if someone out there in America can reach out to her, just you know, I'll tell her, do it again, put it in their face again. You know, go for it. Do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah. For real.
This
no more of this humbling yourself down to your capabilities in life. No more of this being afraid of what another person might think just because you're shining. No, you know, look at it as you being a shining light on the rest of the world that everybody's looking up to and being inspired to, because that's going to make me want to score a touchdown. That's going to make me want to run faster, because I'm going to have a better, you know, celebration dance than that afterwards. But now what are you saying? Oh, no, just sit down after you win a title or a championship. Sit down and be quiet. And, you know, you're just going to get your pat on the back. Good job. Just like everybody else. No.
Do a fist pump.
I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like everybody. I just ran, you know, 53, whatever, broke school records plus champion.
Yes.
I'm not like everybody. You know, recognize my greatness, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to recognize my greatness, you're going to see it from me. I'm going to show you my greatness, greatness. Yeah, forget about that now. 2025, going into 2026. Yeah, man. Let them recognize your greatness. Don't be humble.
Let them see it. I didn't go through this one.
Well, 4 people are pleading guilty, all part of a $500 million.
This is crazy. I saw the headline, but I haven't gone through it yet.
Well, 4 people are pleading guilty, all part of a $500 million bribery scandal involving USAID. Mike Emanuel has the story from Washington.
Bill, good morning. The scheme involving cash, NBA tickets, and a country club wedding. According to the Justice Department, USAID official Roderick Watson sold his influence starting back in 2013. Contractors Walter Barnes and Daryl Britt funneled payoffs through subcontractor Paul Young to hide their tracks. It doesn't end there. Barnes' company, working in conjunction with another firm, kept receiving federal funds. $5,000 for human resources consulting late last year, and then later, after suing the government, a contract worth up to $800 million. Matthew R. Galliotti, head of the Justice Department's criminal division, saying, quote, their scheme violated the public trust by corrupting the federal government's procurement process. Anybody who cares about good and effective government should be concerned about the waste, fraud, and abuse in government agencies, including USAID. Cutting waste, fraud, and abuse has been a big focus on Capitol Hill across government, a major priority for House Speaker Mike Johnson. The U.S. Agency for International Development has been a target for those looking to trim government spending, with some suggesting the agency funneled taxpayer dollars into ideological projects.
I mean, USAID blew it. They showed themselves to be completely irresponsible. It needs to be redone, and the funds need to be directed properly.
Back to the scheme, the Justice Department says this kind of fraud erodes public trust.
Wow.
Bill?
Wild story, Mike. $500 million. Remarkable.
Wild story. Wow.
What saddens me is this is something, Daniel, look. What saddens me is that this is something that I've known 15 years ago. 15 years ago. So imagine how long this has been going on, right? Because my mentor in the tax game used to tell me these type of things. He's like, man, Paul, you know, I'm out here on a mission, right? I'm out here to save people's tax money. You save people as much as I can through taxes by educating them on the right way, you know, to file their taxes so that they can save, because the politicians are just putting that money right in their pocket. It's not coming back for the country, right? It's not being put to use for what they're saying that is being used for, right? And I didn't pay much attention to it because, again, you know, I'm basically learning from myself, right? Even the tax papers were looking like, you know, a foreign language for me when I'm hearing it. But then throughout the years, I'm really seeing what he's saying come to light, and which is one of the reasons why I celebrated when, you know, because we talked about this several episodes ago about how USA, you know, Doge found what USAID was doing and funding all these foreign political parties and millions of dollars for condoms in this country and all this stuff. And like I told you, man, they're laundering that money. It's just going to one shell company to another and then ending up in someone else's pocket. And so I celebrated when it came to light, because this was something that I knew, right? As a tax expert and helping people, you know, save on their taxes and stuff. I knew, like, look, you need to be doing whatever you need to start your own business. You need to, you know, be able to, keep track of all of your expenses in this business, etc., because it's going to help you in the long run. Because if not, they're going to take your money. They're going to take your money, literally, as you can see.
Literally,
literally.
They sued the government and won a contract for $800 million, bro. They said that guy sold his political influence back in 2013. And they just now pled guilty. And this is 2025. So like you had what, 12 years, $550 million. That's crazy, bro.
And he just pled guilty. What kind of sentence is he gonna get?
So
right,
I don't know, bro.
5 years. 5 years.
Better not,
when he's got millions of dollars,
million, bro.
Yeah. What type of sentence is he gonna get? 5 years while he's got millions of dollars stashed in different countries and different bank accounts, and he's just gonna do five. He's gonna have millions of dollars, get out and be able to spend it. That's how it works.
You don't think they're gonna get that money back?
No, they're gonna tell him like, yeah, where's this money? And he's gonna probably give them like whatever, a couple $1 million. The rest, I don't know what happened to it, you know, or I spent it. There's no way for them to get it. Yeah, it's gone. And when he comes out, he's gonna be in a new Lambo, new penthouse, new all this stuff, all, he's gonna have his money.
Yeah, dude. And people were such enraged at what Doge was doing, but look at this, bro. Look at that. I'm not gonna say Doge was the reason why that even came out, but it's a high chance.
It is.
We would have never heard that if it wasn't for Doge. I'm just gonna say that we'd have never heard that.
It is the reason
if it wasn't for Doge.
Because that's what put USAID under a microscope.
Doge. That's crazy, bro. And see, I like what Doge was doing. I didn't like it that we weren't seeing any people, any names being dropped, any people being convicted, any people being, having charges brought up against them. I really hope that that's not the last. I really hope we see more people being charged, more people being arrested, and so accounting for that money. I want to see more of that. I like that. That's a great start. That's one. And that's a lot. It's not like it's like 10 million. No, that's $550 million. Awesome.
Yeah, but it goes back to what I was telling you. The reason why you're not seeing it is because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know who's got caught up in the scandals. They don't want you to know all the politicians who had their hands in the pots and stuff. They settle these things outside of court, right? Or not outside, but or in court, but outside of public opinion. They settle these things.
So why these
they might get a slap?
They
might get a slap on the wrist because those guys are just the ones who they choose to put out there. That's the only reason.
We're not gonna know the real people. We ain't gonna hear Nancy Pelosi being bought up on nothing.
No,
or Hillary.
No,
even though we know they in it.
Exactly.
We know Hillary is in it.
Exactly.
Well, 4 people are pleading guilty.
Oh, hold on. Did you send me that business one?
No, I sent you this one though, but I didn't send you.
Yeah,
I forgot about it, man. Right after you told me about it, the kids was like, "Yeah, I'm hungry. Can you make that spicy sauce, turkey sausage with noodles?" I'm like, "All right, man." So
we'll hit one more before we get out of here, dude, bro. I'm not gonna lie, dog. That AI one that we did, the one that we did with the AI. Just a side note, the one that we did with AI, that one is killing it on TikTok, bro. Like
still,
bro, yeah, dog. People really enjoyed that clip. They enjoyed what we had to say. They enjoyed us even putting that information out there. And the thing about it is too, I like doing these reactions. I like that we're able to do these. For number one, I mean, I scroll down my timeline and I see podcasts doing it, but I don't see enough doing it like this. So this is pretty dope.
Nah, man, nah, they don't do it like that. Yeah, they need to hit you up, bro, and
they got to
and have you work behind the scenes.
You got a podcast, man, bro, and you trying to get it together. Hit me up. But in a second too, like this is a lot of stories, a lot of information that people, unless you're searching for it, it pops up in your algorithm, you might not see. And I think that we could shine a light on some dope things, and just create more content about it, and then let people see it, because some people might not know about these things, or they might not think about it the way that we'll think about it, and it's just open up a new perspective. Even in the comment section, people comment some things. It's like, oh, okay, it's kind of dope. I wouldn't have seen it that way, So I think it's kind of dope doing these reactions. This right here, bro. So Iran. Let's watch it. I ain't even gonna talk about it. Let's watch it.
Latest, not only from Israel, but what do you make of the fact that this appeared to be a pretty limited response, Trey?
Yeah, John, good afternoon. We're getting more information from regional sources right now on this Iranian attack targeting the Al Udeid air base just outside of Doha, Qatar. The latest information that we have, according to the Qatari Foreign Ministry, they say these missiles were intercepted over the Qatari capital of Doha. They say there are no injuries on the ground, and the Qataris are condemning this attack launched by Iran. This is significant, but not unexpected. The distance between Qatar and Iran is just over 100 nautical miles, and this is a large base, the largest American base in the region, and it had largely been evacuated, according to one source that we spoke with, before this attack took place. The Americans understood that Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain could be on the top target list for the Iranians in any sort of response following those strikes that were ordered by President Trump to go after Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend. We're working to get some confirmation about reports that American bases in Iraq may have been targeted. But again, the information that we have about the Gulf is significant. There are air defense systems in Qatar, both the THAAD missile defense system and the Patriot system. And according to some initial video that we reviewed from sources in Doha, it looks like, if not all, but the majority of these incoming missiles were shot down overhead. In terms of what led up to this, we know earlier today the U.S. Embassy in Doha sent out an alert to American citizens in Qatar to shelter in place. Shortly after that, the airspace over this country was closed. You could see on flight radar maps a number of flights diverting to other regional airports. And again, that condemnation coming in from the Qataris. We're also monitoring Iranian state media at this hour, who says that they launched this attack, calling it the Annunciation of Victory. Iranian state media also saying their military says this was a devastating and powerful attack. This is not unexpected propaganda to receive from the regime in Tehran, but again, an indication that the Iranians are looking to save face following this U.S. strike that went after their nuclear facilities over the weekend. Other regional countries, including Kuwait, Bahrain, and the UAE, do remain on high alert at this hour over concern that there could be further attacks on U.S. interests in the region. Of course, the Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. There are also thousands of American forces in Kuwait.
Dude, I visited. I was in Qatar, bro.
Yeah.
So they did that attack, right? So that was their response to, you know, the nuclear facilities being bombed. So this is what Trump tweeted out, or he truthed out. He put on Truth Social. He said, Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very weak response. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. So Iran reaches out and lets them know what they're going to do to the Qatari, you know, government. So they evacuated the base and was able to get everybody out. And then the missiles got shot down anyways. So why even respond? So they're saying that they responded just to save face? I don't know.
What I do know is I don't believe anything I hear on the media when it comes down to war. That's what I do, though. Right? They might tell you some things, but they'll leave out other things. They will put some things in. They might say stuff that, you know, they just want you to know. But what I do know is I'm just not, that's not me. I don't, you know, when it comes down to it, I'm making sure the people in my family, my house, my street, my neighborhood is good to go. Other than that, I'm not in tune with the programming that goes on TV. That's just, I live that tinfoil hat lifestyle, man. That's all. Just because of my experience, Dan, because of what I see, you know, in life, and I'm not really, you know, advocate of listening to what's going on the media.
Yeah. Nah, that's real. That's real. I know when I was over there, and we dealt with incoming and we dealt with those type of things, bro. Like, there were some bases that would feel it. Yet when the things were put in place, you know, that magnitude. Now I'm not gonna say it couldn't happen, but when I was there, you know, and maybe this was a false sense of security, bro. Just when I was over there, dude, I didn't feel like, by the time I got there, because the base had been established and things would have been built up, I didn't feel like, you know, anything was going to happen. Now, there were cases, and I heard stories of people that was over there like times before. People got on the base and things happened, you know, on the base and things of that nature. But when I was there, dude, I would walk around with my K-bar. You know, I couldn't have a gun. You know what I'm saying? I would walk around with my K-bar. Took it everywhere, to the showers, to the DFAC, to the PX, everywhere I went, to the Porta John, everywhere I went, I had that on me. And everybody I walk with had something on them, but I never felt like anything was gonna happen though.
So on that side of the world, in those countries, the black market is big, right? So let's just think about a scenario, right? What if it wasn't someone in the Iranian government? It was just somebody who bought something off the black market and just started bombing stuff, right? Who knows? You don't know what's really going on, right? It's big out there in that side of the country, right? Like they had the Silk Road was like manifesting in that area or something, right? Where you could just get anything you want, and from online on the internet, you can order these type of things. I'm not saying that that's what happened. What I am though is just putting it out there for you guys in America, is that you just don't know what really happened. They could take one type of scenario and someone might have threw a bomb or a missile or whatever, and then shaped it as hey, Iran was trying to attack us, but you couldn't do anything. That's how I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I just don't believe everything that I'm hearing. Could be so many different possibilities based off of what I've seen. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It could have been anything. It could have been anything. Because, I don't like talking about war and stuff like that. That's just not me. But just hypothetically, there could be people who just don't like Americans that have, arsenals, and was just like, oh, I'm mad at what you did. I'm mad that you're here. Get out. Yeah. And here, I'm rich enough to buy a missile, because you can buy missiles in those countries, right? If you had enough money to buy a fighter jet, you could, like, straight up. It's like that.
People over here have
that. It's like that, right?
The owner of the company that I was contracting with, because like you said, bro, you've contracted with the military, dude. Me and you could start up a company contracting and get a military contract.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? People have done that. The story about I forget, Jonah Hill and some other guy did a movie. I forget the name of the movie, but they did arms dealing for the government.
War Dogs, I think.
Yeah, that's based off of a real story.
Correct.
2 dudes was like, let's deal arms to to America and other countries, and they did it. So the owner of the company I was with, this dude bought a tank and had a working tank at his mansion. Like, bro, like, you got the money, you can get anything.
Dude, if we had the money to, we could have a whole army, and then we could send them to go and attack a country, and then they're gonna be like, the Americans attacked us. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how
militias exist, bro.
They're gonna say the Americans attacked us. The U.S. government, the Americans,
bro,
they went after us. That's how it is.
These private companies, America. Okay, I mean, you know this, Paul. You don't want to send your army, or this. You don't want to send your people to do it, so you hire out a company. You hire out some mercenaries,
right?
Trained ex-military people that are staffed on this company, and they keep up with their training. Hey, we have a mission for you. Go extract this person. The army does that, and that's private militaries, bro. Those exist. Right. And America will hire them. Bro, I was on the base station with these guys, and I'm like, bro, you're not military? They're like, no, bro. No, I work for
because the rules are different.
The rules are different, bro.
The rules are different for the private companies. The rules of engagement, the whole is different when you're doing a private contractor. So we might as well just sign it over to them and avoid any type of liability that's going on, right? So
go get this, bro. Man, I don't want to talk about it on this. Like, bro, I'm gonna talk to you once we get out of here. But man, I seen these dudes. They had some videos, bro, and they show you going into and they're doing this stuff, and I'm like, bro, you're not military, no, bro. And they just showing this stuff to me, man. And we just, but I mean, you all on that, you see it, you all on that base together. You guys are just talking. So I mean,
right.
you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But and I don't hold that against anybody. That's just like what you said, what you've experienced. That's what I've experienced, and so that's why I have the feeling I have towards this country and the people that serve. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen it in real time.
Yes, sir.
But dude, that's the episode, man. So thank y'all so much for watching, for rocking with us, for hanging out with us. Sarah, what's up? I see you. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll be here same time, same place next week to check out the replay, watch the replay. Reach out to us on Spotify. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms and do all that good stuff, man. And hit up Paul Renee for all your tax needs, taxmoney123.com. And if you're looking for what you said, Paul, coaching when it comes to
yes, sir.
When it comes to sales and all those type of things, man, reach out to Paul, man.
Yeah, and we'll be back again next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As always, same bat time, same bat channel. If you need that podcast, like you said, hit up Daniel Tatamy with Tatamy Network. We're here. Sir. We're here on Spotify. We're here on YouTube. All right. Yes, show some love, guys. Show some love. And we appreciate the engagement. Don't think we don't. Yeah. All right. We really do. We like being able to have these type of conversations and get some feedback and have that dialogue with you guys. We really do appreciate you guys. So thank you, America, for staying tuned.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see y'all.
So this goes out to you.
Yeah. Deuces. Y'all have a good night.